Well, that didn't work. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode. Thanks for clicking the video. Today, we're going to go over a couple things. First thing being why one might want to invest in Bitcoin. And then we're going to finish that up with just a little Bitcoin update. What is going on with it? What are the prices? And what it's going to be like moving forward here in the next coming days or weeks. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to be drinking one of these Cotees. It's Travis Scott's new seltzer. And out of my Denver Nuggets cup, of course, right? Because Denver Nuggets are amazing. And if you don't think so, well, you're not cool. Tried one yesterday. They're pretty cool. Everybody was talking down on them, but I actually like it. Gulp, 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 gulp. If you can drink one, join me. If not, I'll take one on for you. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. It's very freaking hot out here where I'm at in Colorado, but tis an awesome day. So without further ado, let's dive right into it real quick. Just to check out the chart, Bitcoin is at 56,000. I mean, wow, I can't read numbers. 57,671 US dollars. So I will definitely dig into kind of the technical analysis on what is going on, looking at the RSI, the MACD, all of that good stuff later on in the video. So if you're curious about that, keep watching, stay tuned, we'll be right there. I kind of want to start off just really looking at a couple simple things. The first thing I want to look at is how much Bitcoin would you need to be in the top 1%, right? And there's a couple different articles on that. It used to be 0.1 back in 2014. Somebody had made an article, and now they're saying it's about 0.01 of a Bitcoin. And in today's market, that is about 590-ish, 560-ish dollars, somewhere in that range. So while purchasing 0.01 Bitcoin might cost about $500 today, current trends in global wealth distribution and the inevitable realization of Bitcoin's limited supply could result in 0.01 Bitcoin being worth $1 million in the future. So I'm not sure about you guys, but I definitely don't know a whole lot of people who have $500 of extra money lying around after they're paying their rent, after they're paying their bills, cell phone, food, school, whatever it may be, right? There's not a whole lot of people I know who have $500 laying around, but maybe you have $25 a month laying around and up until you hit that $500 mark, right? I mean, basically, everybody should be trying to chase 0.01 of a Bitcoin. There are 51.9 million individuals with a net worth surpassing $1 million. So the first cool part to realize is that there's 21 million Bitcoins. There's 51.9 million people over $1 million in net worth. Not even every single millionaire can buy one Bitcoin. So really cool chart looking at Bitcoin's infinite supply versus the inflation, right? Bitcoin's going to be deflationary because the inflation is going to continue to go down, unlike the US dollars where the inflation is going to continue to go up. And I'll get into a little bit more of that, by the way, too. But a couple cool things to note inside of here is in 10 years, the supply will reach 20.6 million Bitcoin in existence, or 98% of the 21 million total coins in supply. Right now we're at 18.64, and you got to think there's says it right here, when removing the 1.9 million coins that haven't been touched for over a decade from the Bitcoin supply cap, there's a maximum limit of 19.2 million Bitcoin available for the world's millionaires. The reason why it says that is because Satoshi owns about 2 million Bitcoin. Out of the rest of it, you've got to assume that probably 4 million Bitcoin is forever just lost, sent to the wrong address, somebody forgot their passwords, right? So there's roughly anywhere from, I would say, 5 to 6 million Bitcoin gone forever. They'll never recirculate. So this leaves 0.37 Bitcoin per millionaire, assuming that Bitcoin supply will be evenly shared between all of them, right? If all of them went in to buy a Bitcoin today, they'd have 0.37 of a Bitcoin. But not every single millionaire today is going to buy a fraction of it. So it makes the situation actually a little bit more crazy if you think in the terms of the next 5 years, over the next 10 years. When do big people, not only millionaires, but think about when do more big corporations start to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet? How many more exchanges or institutions are going to buy it and put it on their balance sheet? So it is really cool to think about when you're thinking about the long term of it. Really cool on Cointelegraph if you wanted to look at that. One thing also that I think is very interesting is right now, if we were to look at the coin marketcap.com, sorry, my computer is taking a little bit to load, so I'm gonna take a drink. Come on, dude. Like that meme where you poke it with a stick. Come on, do something. I just want to note that while we're sitting here waiting for this to load, I was charging one of my ledgers. Was just downloading a couple more wallets for it as I've been accumulating a couple different more coins. I have coins spread out kind of everywhere. Not a whole lot on exchanges, which is what I would suggest every person to not do. Don't leave any on exchanges unless it's a very small amount. Keep them on your cold storage. That's what I'm doing. Why is this not working? Okay, hopefully that stays there and it works. It looks like it's working. So the thing that I was trying to show you was that the Bitcoin market sub itself, just Bitcoin's market cap, is sitting at $1 trillion. And I may add that it has done that faster than Apple, faster than Amazon, faster than Tesla, right? Those companies took anywhere from, Tesla was 24 years, and Microsoft, Apple took them 45 years to hit $1 trillion. Okay, so Bitcoin did it in 12. Very interesting. But if you look at the total market cap of all the cryptocurrency space, it is 1.8 trillion. So it's almost $2 trillion, right? Now let's go back to this other tab where you're looking at the gold market cap being anywhere from 10 trillion to $11 trillion. So we are 1/10, or if you want to go down a little bit, we are 1/5 of gold's market cap. That's pretty insane to think about, right? What happens when we get to 2/10 or 3/10 or a half of gold market cap? What does that do to the price of Bitcoin, right? It pushes the price up tremendously. And I don't even want to look up because I already know what it is, but the silver market cap is 1.3 trillion. So we're already basically past that as Bitcoin itself. But as the crypto space total, we're past that. So I'm not even worried about silver anymore. And if that kind of freaks you out, we're going to get towards that $10 trillion mark, or we're going to pass that $10 trillion mark. Personally, I think we're going to pass it because just like gold, right, Bitcoin is a global thing. It is globally accepted, used, and will be for a very long period of time. So next part. How long do most currencies last for? 27 years. The average life expectancy for a fiat currency is 27 years, with the shortest lifespan being a month. So founded in 1694, the British pound sterling is the oldest fiat currency in existence. That is actually pretty interesting. Did not know that. And so I Googled how old is the US dollar. 240 years old. Started in 1775. But a couple things to note about the US dollar. In 1971, that is when the US dollar stopped being backed by gold. So for the last 50 years now, there has been nothing backing the US dollar besides people's trust inside of the US dollar. So that is more than double what has happened. So basically all I'm trying to say with this is it's lasted a long time. 240 years is definitely a long time. It doesn't have any backing anymore and hasn't for the last 50 years. If the US dollar continues to inflate and print off trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars every single year, how long do you think that the US dollar can survive as a currency, right? And you have a lot more to mix into that, right? Take in the debt. But I think the inflation and the amount of money being printed is a huge factor. So I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't really see it lasting for a ridiculously long amount of time. I just don't see it. It wouldn't make any sense. It's not healthy. But then your next question is, well, what backs the US dollar? That's what I was saying earlier, right? So our money supply isn't backed by anything besides the trust. There was a time when we could turn in paper money into government for gold coins, but that practice ended in 1934 when Congress changed the wording of the Federal Reserve Act. Now, I do know a little bit about this, so forgive me if I'm slightly wrong, but I know at this 1934 time, the government basically said it is illegal for you to own any Bitcoin yourself. You need to send it to us. The practice of turning our paper money into silver coins ended in the 1960s, and then, like I said, in 71, that's when the US dollar was no longer backed by gold, which may turn you into, well, what backs Bitcoin? Bitcoin is backed by a public blockchain ledger that contains proof of all the transaction on the network. That's not necessarily helping the problem, right? But here's the part. Bitcoin is limited in its supply. So there's only going to be, like I said, 21 million Bitcoin. So it's limited in supply, making it rare, just like precious metals like gold. It is commonly conceived idea that Bitcoin has no value just because it's not backed by anything physical. But a good example of what this next thing is that I'm going to say, which is Metcalfe's law. Metcalfe's law basically says that the value of a network is proportional to the number of users squared. So let's just say one phone on the entire planet is worthless because you can't call anybody else, you can't text anybody else. It's only one phone. The second you add a second phone into the mix, or a third phone, or a fifth phone, or count how many phones that the population has right now, that makes the value of the phone progress more because the usage is there, right? So definitely one thing, if we're just talking about the usage, is going to be the number of people who use it squared. And I think there's over 150 million addresses right now, right? I don't think that means there's 150 million people that are in the space, because if people are like myself, I have more than 10 wallets myself. So who knows, right? But it's definitely not 150 million people, I would not assume. But going back to the best part of that, right? Bitcoin is limited in supply. And then if you want to go back to even this gold market cap, if you look into what makes money and what are the values that gold holds, Bitcoin holds every single one of those values. It just does it in a way better way. So I just kind of wanted to get all that kind of stuff just out there and have you guys think about it, right? Because these are some of the small points that one would think about if they were interested in putting their money into an asset like Bitcoin. Basically, it's a hedge, right? It's a hedge against the US dollar. It's a hedge against stocks, because when they print the US dollar, when they print more of that, it inflates, but what happens to everything else, right? Real estate inflates, the stock market inflates, all kinds of things inflate. But there are certain things that are not going to inflate because it doesn't matter what their value is based off of the US dollar, right? Take the Mona Lisa painting for an example, right? You take the US dollar and don't attach it to the value of the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa still has value. There is one of them. It's an amazing piece of art. All right, if there was 5, the original Mona Lisa wouldn't mean much. So it wouldn't have a whole lot of value. So it's just really cool things to think about when you're thinking in terms of, well, should I put some money into Bitcoin? I always tell people, if you don't really understand it yet, or you don't trust it, or you don't know enough about it, you should definitely be putting 1% of your portfolio in it if you just look at those simple things that I just showed you right now. So let's take another deep dive, though. I said I would go back to the technical analysis, check out more of the Bitcoin price and what is going on lately. So just something to look at, right? 9,000 cryptocurrencies now. About a month or two ago, there was 8,200, I think. So there's almost another 1,000. Market cap, like I said, $1.8 trillion. The dominance, Bitcoin dominance, is 59.1%. Ethereum dominance is 11.5%, leaving everything else for the rest. Now, Bitcoin, $57,631, and Ethereum actually making its way back up. It was floating around that 15 to 17 mark. It's now sitting at $1,800. Cardano still in 5th place. Polkadot dropped down a little bit. Actually, it's back up to that 6 mark, right? Litecoin down to 10, but it's shooting its way back up to $200. You guys know how much I like to look at this site, right? Just to look at how the top 50 changes in a day or a week or a month, the top 100. This is something cool I like to look at on a daily basis. Now back to the Bitcoin chart. I have been playing with these triangles, right? These descending triangles, waiting for the kind of the bust to break through out of that triangle. Now this could be a bust pretty early, just like it was here. I thought it was going to actually play out the triangle like it did back in the past. Didn't do that on this one. This could be very similar. Now, the one thing I want to kind of go over first, let's take all of our lines off. Let's look specifically at the graph with the Bollinger Bands. Now, once again, like I explained in other previous videos, these Bollinger Bands are a great trading algorithm that I like to use. Basically, the top yellow line is the high average of where it should be. The bottom yellow line is the low average of where it should be, and there's a red line in the middle of that kind of telling you the average, the middle base price of where it should be. So we actually busted above that after having some attempts at hitting it and not going through it. Happened here also. But the one cool thing I do want to state is that right here on the 25th of March, we touched that Bollinger Band. Basically, we touched it, right? Just like we did back here. And in many other videos, like I've showed you before, most of the time, 98% of the time, when it touches that bottom of the Bollinger Band, it's got to go up, it's got to touch the top. Normally what happens is it touches the top and it rides that Bollinger Band up for a while. So we touched the bottom, right? We're sitting at that medium, that middle area. So it's a comfy zone for us. If we get past that, I'm going to look at retesting it. If we can't go past it, and yes, we're above it right now, but we may not be. So in the next couple of hours, we may drop back down and touch the top of it, and we may sit there for a little bit. Bust out our lines back again. We had this blue trend line that we stood on, and it rode basically since the 27th of January. So for about 2 months, we rode this blue trend line. Finally broke it on the 22nd. We fell down below it. And then now you can see that it's actually acting as a resistance going up. We basically touched that blue line, fell back down. So, I mean, I really do see us going up towards that, right? And then we touch the top of that blue line. It's pretty similar to the top of the Bollinger Band before we continue to rise. But the next thing to see is that currently the resistance line that we have also right now is the previous high before $61,000 at 57 grand. So of course, because that's where it's at right now, right? So a lot of resistance here, but I think that there's also a decent amount of support if you're looking at what's above it. So there's all of this that we kind of bounced on right before we broke through it, and we did break through twice, but it could act as really good support for us. If you're looking at just the RSI, things are hanging out in the middle. So could be a decent time to buy, right? It's not super high, it's not super low, it's just kind of hanging out somewhere in the middle. And then my ultimate kind of favorite thing to look at besides the Bollinger Band is the MACD. If you trade when these MACD lines flip, right, the orange on the bottom, meaning bull pressure to go up, that's the best time to buy normally. So once again, if you were looking to put some money in, I'd probably wait for that Bollinger Band to flip, or I'd probably wait to buy when the price touched the bottom of that Bollinger Band. So could this be a good buying opportunity? Yeah, it still could be a good buying opportunity. It's at 57, right? Could go back up to that 61 before it finds more resistance. If you're looking to catch a couple scalp trades, that's probably a really good one for you. If you're trading with leverage, maybe, we'll see. But it's definitely not the top, right? People keep asking, is this the top? When is it going to be the top? Are we falling down, right? They thought that we topped out here at the 61, came back down to that 50-ish kind of level. It's like, whoa, there's the bears. The market topped. It's game over. It's done. It's going to zero. None of that's happening, right? We're still in a bull run. We still have, I think, a good 6 to 8 months, possibly longer, of a bull run. And I can show you a bunch of more cool things to kind of push that evidence through. But we are nowhere near towards the end of this bull run. I think the bulk of it has yet to come. I think this is an interesting phase. A lot of people are thinking that it's been very boring, right, for the last, I guess you could say, month, because it's really just kind of been fluctuating between that 57, 43 to $61,000 range. So I think we're going to have a big explosion here really soon. I think this is good consolidation, but we're about to kind of get into some really cool things. So just wanted to leave you guys with that. Really appreciate you guys watching the video. Always the best way to support the channel is to give a like for the algorithm. That helps me out a lot. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Leave a comment if you have anything you want me to go over in another video. Maybe you have some questions. Maybe you have some ideas that you want kind of explained better. But I also do want to put together some series of just some Bitcoin basics or Bitcoin 101 for people who are starting to get into it. I want this channel to be for the people who have been in it for years, and I want this channel to be for people who are barely getting started in it. I kind of want to be the average. I want to supply both just to kind of give everybody a clear picture and understanding. I really think that everybody should try to understand this the best that they can, spend however much minutes they can every single day trying to learn something new about it. If it's 15 minutes of YouTube videos every single day, I think that helps, right? And then one thing that I figured out, hopefully this works out really well, but apparently this was what Michael Saylor said. If you don't know who he is, YouTube him, you'll understand a lot more about Bitcoin. But if you go to hope.com, it's going to take you to Michael Saylor's website, his company's website, microstrategy.com. That's exactly what it did. And apparently there is a bunch of resources and information on here for you if you're looking to learn more about it. If you're just looking for a lot of different resources, apparently he's got videos, he's got articles, a lot of really cool stuff, PDFs that you can download, but a great place to kind of start if you're looking to see, where can I get some more Bitcoin information. I know YouTube can be tough sometimes. If you haven't looked at this Bitcoin white paper, it's only 9 pages long. It's really easy to understand. Some people might not think so. There are going to be some parts of it that are not easy to understand, but you're going to get the basics of it. So really good website to watch, but I appreciate you guys coming on here. Hopefully everybody has a great day. Keep being cool, keep being kind, and please leave me some comments, something we can engage with and talk about. But thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Peace out.